You're moments away from today's live stream Q&A. During the stream, we encourage you to ask your questions. From now until the end of today's stream, you will have the option to purchase personalized autographs and one-on-one chats with your favorite celebrities at GalaxyCon.com. GalaxyCon is the copyright holder of this video content. The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyrighted work is strictly prohibited.
And fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today we are joined by 8 amazing actors who have given voice to the characters that have collectively compelled us to ask, Ma, can we get some of this? And now's the time for all of you in our chat room to begin typing in your questions for them. Immediately after this session, you will have the opportunity to talk to them directly through our private chat options, as well as shop our selection of personalized autographs, all of which are available now at GalaxyCon.com. So without further ado, let's go down the grocery and toy aisle and see who we find. Our first guest is an actor whose credits include Milo Murphy's Law, One Punch Man, and Saint Seiya. Today he joins us as the voice of the thirst-busting Kool-Aid Man. Please welcome Brock Powell.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Patty?
I am good, Brock. How are you?
I'm hopped up on sugar, and I'm ready to do this. I think we could crank this 45-minute thing out in 5 to 10 minutes. I've got so much high corn fructose going through my veins, which, you know, a lot of people always ask, is the Kool-Aid Man, is he the mixture, or is he the water, or is he the jug? And the truth is he's the powder. He's the sentient. I'm answering it here first.
True. Yeah,
he's the sentient powder.
That absolutely makes sense. And when you inherited the role, he's no longer the collateral damaging, causing Kool-Aid Man that I grew up with. He's a little more conversational and a little more presentational, shall we say.
Yeah, I like to call the Kool-Aid Man the Hodor of advertising, because he's known for these 2 words right here, which I think, you know, these amazing actors that I'm on the panel with today, we all are probably tied for the record of words per minute, or, you know, as far as like a gig goes for 2 words, or even a catchphrase. Oh yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty short. Yeah, they recently have been going through a lot of changes with the Kool-Aid Man. So it's a lot more about being active, a lot more about jovial, less about house damage.
Yes.
And in fact, the last spot that I did that had me crashing through a wall was actually with Flo from Progressive, and we were selling home insurance. So,
that's right. That's absolutely right. Now, what era did you, Kool-Aid Man, did you grow up with?
Oh, so Frank Sims, who I've followed. Frank was my Kool-Aid Man, and I don't think I have any images of his Kool-Aid Man, but the one with the Hawaiian shirt that's open. So Razzleberry, the one with there was a really bad wonky CGI party house commercial. I remember.
Yeah.
You remember? And the pool's the shape of the Kool-Aid pitcher.
Yes.
And the Kool-Aid Man comes out, and it's kind of this weird, like, just this weird sort of 90s thing. And it was that really deep, oh yeah, which they have since kind of gotten away with a little bit.
Yeah, see, my Kool-Aid Man was, again, the Hey Kool-Aid, destroy,
of course.
But also the song.
Here, da 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 da.
Well, I was a Kool-Aid wipes out thirst for you, a thrill, crush a bag of boba with a big bright smile and a fun taste. That was the 70s version.
Yeah,
which dates me.
Richard Berg was that Kool-Aid Man. So there's been 4 of us so far: Pat Duke, myself, Frank Sims, Richard Berg, and it's really one of those cool things being a legacy character, because all these guys are, with the exception of Richard Berg, are still around, and it's a really cool to share that. And someday I'm going to pass the picture on to someone else. I think it'd be cool if they did.
I like that.
Pass the picture. I think it'd be cool if they did like the Colonel Sanders thing, because my thought would be, you've got the Kool-Aid Man in the picture, so why not have a bunch of different people? And I'm talking like, you could have a Kool-Aid woman, a Kool-Aid person. You could have all sorts of different actors, and they just open the powder, change color, become a different voice, kind of like the Colonel Sanders thing. I'm all for it.
Let's hit the Twitters and make that happen.
Boom. To the
Yeah, indeed. And speaking of, our next guest, he is an actor whose body of work includes Winnie the Pooh, Adventures in Odyssey, and the highly underrated Pirates of Darkwater, a show dear to my heart. Today he joins us as the voice of Ernest J. Keebler, a.k.a. Ernie. Please welcome Andre Stoka.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Great to be here on this great afternoon.
Good to have you, Andre. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm kind of in my Ernie Keebler mood today. He's a kind of a sincere fella, and he goes through a lot of work. You know, it's hard to be an elf and make cookies that are a little bit bigger than you are. And so what he has to do is employ all kinds of mechanisms and techniques in order to do that. Sometimes I get my fellow elves along with me, and we pick up maybe one on each corner of the cookie, and we take it over to the thing and dip it in, and we get a little chocolate on it, which is pretty good. And then we put it on a conveyor, and it goes off to another elf who puts it in the box. It's a simple mechanism. We do them one by one, but we enjoy it.
It's made with love.
That's right.
Oh, Andre, it's such a pleasure to have you here. And just real quick, when Super Friends was retooled in the Superpowers team, you appeared as you gave the voice of my favorite Batman villain, the Scarecrow, in one of what's still considered the best episode of that run, The Fear, when the Scarecrow confronts Batman with his parents' death, and it was a great reading of the character. And thank you for that performance.
Well, I don't even remember doing it, so
trust me, you did it. It's well remembered.
Well, I'm glad you're telling me that. It really makes me feel good. I know I see pictures of the Scarecrow, and people write to me all the time that they like it, but it's been a long time since that has taken place.
Well, I guess
in the meantime, I've been traveling through the 100-acre wood and doing all kinds of other things.
Absolutely. Owl, of course, beloved, and your work on Adventures in Odyssey. Just, yes.
Owl, of course, is a man who's full of himself. Fly up here in the tree looking down at the forest. It gives one a sense of awe when sees little bears coming around, Stupid bears.
Indeed. Andre, once again, thank you for joining us.
I've got chills, Andre. Right in the childhood. That was great.
And also, speaking of Adventures in Odyssey, our next guest is an alum of that as well. She's an actress whose body of work includes Ring Raiders, Jungle Jam, and Friends, and she's been the host of Adventures in Odyssey since its inception. Today, she joins us as the voice of the fashion doll form and video game form as Renaissance woman Barbara Millicent Roberts, better known to her friends and fans as Barbie. Please welcome Chris Anthony Lansdowne.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hello, Chris. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. I love being here with you guys today.
Oh, it's so...
I wore my pink shirt.
It's pink, very much so. And the voice of an icon to many young girls and a few young boys as well. I was friends with some guys like that too. And again, thank you for your contributions to that. And it's interesting too, because I think when you got the role when Barbie was really beginning to be modernized and really coming out of just this blank, a man's ideal to being the professional astronaut Barbie, surgeon Barbie, Olympic Barbie. I think there was a diplomatic summit Barbie at one point. So,
well, it's funny because she talked a little before me, but then they kind of established a real voice for her right around 1994. And I was the kid on the floor who used to play with my Barbies with my sister, and I get to be her. And it was exciting because at the time, that's when they had the 1994 earthquake in Northridge, and I was set to go to an audition. Didn't know it was for Barbie, just knew I was going to audition for a doll. I couldn't go to Mattel because of all an earthquake was going on. So the director said, "Can you just audition on the phone? We have a feeling let's see how you sound." I'm on the floor with my phone in an earthquake going, "Hi, it's me, Barbie. You look cool." And I went, "Can I do it again? I'm really nervous." literally said to me, "No, we like how you're sounding. Can you come tomorrow to Mattel?" And I went, "Yeah, I can come. Who cares? There's no running water or anything. I'll just be there, okay?"
Wow. And the rest is history.
Yeah, it's a real privilege because it's a lot of responsibility to be, an icon's voice. Barbie, I'll tell you, to this day, I still look at little kids and I say, "Close your eyes. I love you. I'm Barbie." And that way I can still feel, that little magic.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us. This is an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Indeed. And our next guest is an actor and producer whose credits include Mickey and the Rooster Racers, Tom and Jerry, and Star Trek Online. Today joins us as the voice of Lucky the Leprechaun. Please welcome Daniel Ross.
Oh, I found me Lucky Charms.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Daniel, how are you holding up?
Doing pretty good. In great company. So I'm amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely. And real quick, you did some ADR work on the Joker. Did I read that correctly?
That's correct. In the first 30 seconds of the film, there's some radio chatter going on while Joaquin Phoenix is putting on his makeup. And I'm one of those people on the radio talking about the conditions in Gotham City, which was just so cool. Because a long time ago, I actually got my union card being a stand-in for Joaquin Phoenix on the movie Ladder 49. So it was like, oh my goodness, it's on both ends. It's amazing.
All right, that is pretty amazing. And of course, Lucky, the eternally tormented, beleaguered leprechaun.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
The Pink Hearts, Yellow Moons, which a couple years ago, a friend of mine, a sketch comedy thing, he did a crazy thing about how the Lucky Charms commercial is like teaching kids imperialism, like the hearts and the diamonds, those are the geological, mineralogical resources, man, and just
and
all
they taste delicious.
Exactly. Oh yes, they absolutely do. Absolutely. So, Daniel, great to have you here, boss. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited.
Oh, absolutely. And our next guest is an actor whose credits include Avengers Academy, Iridescent, and Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Custom Night. Today joins us as the voice of Toucan Sam. Please welcome Matthew Curtis.
Yay!
Through the North Loop! Matthew, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to be here. Sometimes I wonder why I'm here.
Because you're the voice of Toucan Sam, and you've got a really solid career, and you are the owner of the Imagination Station, as you call it.
That is correct, which, of course, is a reference to Adventures in Odyssey. We have come full circle.
Yeah. I really like your perhaps a little inspired by this as well.
A little bit. You could say that. So,
no, it's all good. It's all good. How's your year been working out so far?
It's been pretty good. It's been a year. Usually January slows down for us remote talent, but it picked up for me at least. I don't know about other people in my field and where I'm located or anything like that, but I was kept busy here at home. So.
Hey, there you go. Busy.
I love the traffic.
Busy in this line of work is always good.
Exactly.
Busy in any line of work is good.
And these days, you're absolutely right. All right, let's get busy with our next guest. He is an actor whose body of work includes Archer, Darkened Sky, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Today joins us as the voices of Frankenberry and the Blue M&M. Please welcome Rob Pruitt.
Am I there?
Yes, you're here, sir. You're here.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, Brock, how you doing, dude?
Good, man. Good to see you, Blue. How are you?
I forgot to do my Gregory Peck for you the other day. So, all right, let's go on with the interview. Brock and I'll take this up on phone later.
No worries, boss. How you been doing? And how's this guy working out?
Frankenberry. Absolutely. A very wonderful, sweet cereal. I want to thank Pat Giles and Maddie Gallen for giving me that job. And it's an honor to be on this with Larry Kenney and Chris Phillips. because they were my mentors.
Well, you
So
honor
thank
us.
you
You honor us for joining us today, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
so much.
Our next guest. Oh, what's that?
No.
Okay, all right. Go on.
I thought you had more questions about the blue M&M and Leonard the Sherman beer, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that when we get to the other stuff of it too. So let me get the rest of it.
I'm just pulling your chain. Hey, Brock, take care.
You FSU guys, I swear. Our next guest is an actor and singer and songwriter whose body of work includes Disney's Doug, Blue's Clues, and the voice of Face from Nick Jr. Today he joins us as the voice of Boo Berry. Please welcome Chris Phillips.
Huh? Oh, hey, everybody.
Right. Hey.
How y'all doing?
We're good, Chris. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
good to
thanks.
be with this crew of nutty boobs. Oh my God!
Speaking of booze,
Boo.
Well,
It's blueberry.
Boo, boo. So, Chris, I just want to say you may be the most dichotomous guest I've ever had here because your body of work, like I said, Blue's Clues, Disney's Doug, and Face, these really gentle voiceover work you've done, and then we go to your collaborations with Dennis Leary.
Right, the other end of the spectrum. Yeah. I've known Dennis for many years and worked with him for many years, and I write songs for him and produce the songs and play on them. And you'll see me in the special, any of his specials, I'm there, and any of the songs, I'm always there.
I will always have an eternal soft spot for the A song.
Can we say that? What it is?
Well, I think you can say it. I can't. So
It's a body part, and we say it like 50 times in the song. It's a tapper, and you can find it on YouTube.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And finally, last and absolutely not least, he is an actor, singer, and radio personality whose body of work includes Silverhawks, Thundercats, and Imus in the Morning. Today, he joins us as the voice of Count Chocula, Sonny the Cuckoo Bird. Please welcome Larry Kenny.
Yay! Hey, everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I swear I'm here. I'm not moving though. My picture's not moving.
He's a little stiff.
How do you do that? That's amazing.
Can you guys see me?
Looks great.
Boy, I'll tell you that.
Well, right now you're frozen in a smile, so you look good.
There you
All
go.
right,
There you
good.
go.
There.
Larry, you're moving. You're moving now.
So, Larry, real quick before we get to the breakfast cereal stuff, I and the rest of my generation, thank you as always for Lion-O and Thundercats. Absolutely one of the most seminal series of our generation, and just great adventure, great values, and great performances.
Well, thank you very much. I've always been proud of the shows, and thank you all for watching them.
No, absolutely. And let me just say this much to our entire panel, all of you, thank you so much for joining us here on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. We are looking forward to the day when we can host you on our physical stages and get you all back in front of your fans. In the meantime, we have this format, and we are here on a very interesting umbrella subject, so I'm just going to throw this out. Often, and I'm sure you've all gotten this too, often get asked, how do you become a voice actor? What tips would you give a voice actor? Now, in this commercial work, when you're doing a little different from the narrative animation and stuff like that, what are the challenges in doing this? I always imagine that there's a lot more corporate eyes on you at the recording process and the selection process than there would normally be in a series or a cartoon short of some kind.
Yeah, there were a lot of guys that are always looking at you. I remember once I was doing a spot for Bank of America in San Francisco. They flew me up to San Francisco, and I'm doing a jingle, a spot to a jingle, and part of it is Bank of America. Bank of America can help you, can solve your business problems. That was the key line, and I did it. I actually hit every cue. You know what I'm talking about when you're working to a musical jingle. You hit every single moment, and I did it. And the control room is full of people. I mean, there must have been at least 20 people and there's smoke in those days. You were smoking and food was being brought in and all of that sort of stuff. And I'm waiting in the studio for somebody to say something, and nobody says anything. And I'm waiting for 20 minutes. Finally, after 20 minutes, somebody says, Andre, where you say Bank of America can solve your business problems? Yeah. Can you say it in a way that it sounds like it can't solve your business problems? And I said, what's my answer? Everybody, sure, I can do that. And I did another take, and we were out of there. That was it.
Yeah, well, Andre, what I normally say to producers or whomever I'm talking to at my studio is like, give me a line reading. I don't mind that.
I never mind
whatever I want.
Yeah, then you give them what they want.
Yeah.
No, I never asked for line readings. I figured.
Well, that's just me. That's fine. But what did you say, Chris? I'm sorry, you said something.
No, that I never mind if somebody asks me for a line reading. Then you're giving them what they want.
I'd like to hear what Larry has to say about this.
Well, I just say to them, what the hell do you want then? I've done 10 things.
I do have a Barbie.
No, I don't mind at all.
I won't mention the store it was for, but
Right.
a certain store. And she was going to be with Ken, and they were going to be riding around in a car together, and they were going to be leaving the toys on a shelf. One director said to me, he goes, now, we don't want Barbie to sound dumb. We don't want her to sound like an airhead. But the other director says, but make her really sweet. Make her really sweet, innocent. And then the other lady says, well, I'd like her to sound more like a teacher. The person saying, no. Make her sound like she's afraid, but she's brave.
But I know what you'd say. I knew what you would say. You'd go, I got it.
No, I said, cool.
It's the same thing, right?
Cool.
Brock, what do you do? What is your response to this? What do you think?
I love working, and I think ad execs are crucial to my job.
Yeah.
So I will say that they are always right. But I will tell you a quick Kool-Aid story, because one of my first gigs with them, obviously this guy says 2 words, and there were 6 people in my headphones.
Right.
We were doing a remote session even then, and they go, okay, so you're bursting through a wall, and it's a surprise party. So okay, oh yeah, okay, but this time it's for a group of girls, little girls. Oh yeah, okay, but now it's little boys. Oh yeah, and they kept changing the circumstances of the party. It's a birthday party, it's a Christmas party, and I don't know what we ended up trying to get, but they went with like take 1 or 2. So whatever they were trying to get in the inflection, they got pretty early on, which I don't know about you all, but that seems to be pretty common, that it's pretty early that you get what you need usually.
Well, I kind of side with Chris and Larry on this. Is like, what do you want? Just tell me what you want.
The first direction I got, my first job was playing a lamp. And I was for a van and storage company. There's a radio spot, and I'm a lamp. So the director says, now, there are a lot of different kinds of lamps. And I'm
well, there are. I've met Paul, and I still have their names, by the way.
And I said, yeah. And she says, well, there's like a 25-watt lamp. And I said, yeah. And she said, and maybe 100-watt lamp. And I said, yeah. She said, well, we'd like it to be like 50 watts. And I said, gotcha.
Oh, I thought you said lamb. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Lambs?
Nah.
A 50-watt lamp?
Nah.
I can do that.
I can do that.
We're gonna get lettuce, right, Larry? We're gonna get lettuce.
God, Matthew. How about you? What's been your experience like in as Toucan?
Well, I mean, so for me, all my work is always remote. So I never really see the people unless they want to or they want to Skype or Discord or whatever, the kids are using these days, this thing, SteamYard. But for Toucan Sam, it was so what we do is you got your Source Connect standard session, which is a bit like ISDN, but on the computer. And then you usually they're all connected via phone patch, via Skype, via Zoom, and they're all coming in your earphones and all giving you different direction of how to do it. So we don't want him to be too old, but also he's ageless. So keep in mind, and we want that sense of adventure, but not too adventurous because they are kids, and he needs to be friendly, but not too friendly. Kids, and so it just come in. Okay, so and then you come in, you're like, yeah, we're going through the North Loop, and it was a lot of fun.
I from my own experiences, it seems like every person involved with the company in the room always feels like they have to throw something in there, regardless whether it makes sense or not. Just for appearances and not too much this,
Yeah.
Well, so when you said it like this, I like that way, but can we try it where you go up on the inflection and right in the middle? So I know you usually hit the beat here hard, really, but I want you to hear how that sounds. Okay, so yeah, I like that take. I like that take a lot.
The strangest direction I ever had was, can you sound more purple? I don't know. They go,
I don't know.
What did you do? How did you become more purple, Chris?
I said, I don't know. And they go, that kind of thing. So
I'm doing it right now. Well, the last thing I'll say, I promise, and Larry and Chris.
It's not the last thing you'll say.
Yeah, and Brock will say, no, it's not the last thing you'll say. But the thing that I miss the most is being in a booth with a Chris Phillips and a Larry Kenny, because that's where I learned the most. And Brock, you and I have talked in the past about your mentors. And, I learned so much from both of these gentlemen. And what was it? Newton said, I stood on the shoulders of giants.
Oh, that's cool.
Very nice of you, Chris. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No, that was Rob who said that. And by the way, my nephew Bub says hi, Larry, by the way.
Let me dig myself up.
Daniel, have we heard from you yet?
I was just going to say, you have to ask permission before you stand on the shoulders of giants. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't. It just depends on pressure points, etc.
What kind of shoes you're wearing,
Yeah.
Shoes,
My experience with commercials, the Lucky Charms thing was incredible. I literally had quit my job. I was working overnights at Target managing the logistics process. So all the trucks coming in, freight going out, all the employees who were exhausted working 2 or 3 jobs, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. every single day, so that I had my days free to audition and network. And the day that I said, my intuition said, it's time to move on. It's time to focus on voiceover. I said goodbye to everybody. I drive off the parking lot, and my agent calls me and says, you booked Lucky the Leprechaun.
Oh, wow.
So I tell everybody, I literally got lucky. That moment. And, as a voice actor, to lean into your intuition and as a creative to say, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life is a tough decision. You leave behind health benefits. You leave behind security with a regular job to go into an entrepreneurial type environment. So Lucky was a huge part of my career and a stepping stone to where I said, okay, the universe is giving me a sign that I'm doing the right thing. And so I jumped in the booth for the first time, and they wanted me to really emulate Doug Preece, who just had such an amazing voice as Lucky the Leprechaun. I grew up, with that voice in my head. And in fact,
still in my head.
As a kid, my grandparents, I'd go visit my grandparents, and they'd say, anything you want in the store that your parents won't let you have, you go get it. And I would always go to Lucky Charms, and I'd sit back at my grandparents' place, and I'd pick out all the marshmallows, and I'd put them into a ball, and I'd eat the ball, and it would look like I murdered a unicorn on my hands because of all the colors. And so I just had so many fond memories. And when I jumped into the booth, it was work. It was work. I had to not only emulate Doug Prees and try to keep it as uniform as possible for the voice, but I had to really channel that character. And when you channel a character, it's so much more than doing just an impression. So that was a real workout for me. And at the point where I'm singing the jingle, Frosted Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious. They're like a little more jiggle in the throat. And I'm like, you mean vibrato? What does that mean? You know, sometimes I don't understand the adjectives that are used when you jump into commercials.
More leprechaun-y.
Yeah.
Well, I had done a spot as Michael Buffer for McDonald's at one point, and they wanted, let's get ready to rumble. Well, because it had to be 15 seconds, they kept truncating it to the point where we didn't even do that at all. So commercials are very interesting in that respect. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, I think everybody will agree. You can do voices, but you got to be an actor. You've got
That's right. Well said. Well
voices
said.
are just voices. It's the acting. If you ever want to get in this kind of business, get your acting up to speed, because
absolutely. Well said.
Every one of these guys are legends because they're good actors.
Yes, absolutely so. And above the advice I always give to people real quick, it's just always, it's a marathon. It's not a race. Become a real actor, develop your ear, learn to listen. It's just as important. And I'm sorry, but they've already got people who can do pirate voices, and a Monty Python accent is not a British accent. Matthew looks like he's in a dispute.
Call for it. If the specs say,
Monty Python.
Oh no! Oh yeah! Oh God!
That's right.
I'll put a dress on and everything if they.
That's right.
I got one in the other room. I'll go get it for you.
Well, what'd you say, Larry? I didn't hear you. What'd you say? I left mine there at your house. Is that what you said?
So our producers let us know we have some audience questions good to go. So let's go ahead and roll to them and let's see what comes out. And our first one is going to come from Aaron, who wants to know any favorite memory voicing your classic character.
Wow.
No.
Who's going to go first with that? I vote for Larry Kenney. I won't mention how many years he's been doing it, but it's a lot more than ours. Did you want to mention something?
It's been for the.
I'm Cuckoo. I'm Cuckoo. Come on.
I can say one thing. A favorite moment was they had Barbie actually have her mouth talk with the opening and closing. That was the first thing. It was the mouth actually dropped and talked, and unfortunately, she came out at Christmas time, and it was their big moment. And I was excited and told everybody Barbie's mouth is going to open and close when she talks, and I had to record thousands of names. So when she talked, she would say all these little girls' names like Cindy, Linda, Mary. So we did 3 months of names. Big day came, Christmas morning. Barbie was right here in my hand. Her mouth got stuck. Everybody goes, what's wrong with her? And the mouth goes, and it just stayed there. It was like a disaster. I thought it wasn't my favorite moment, but it was a nightmare.
Well, if anyone else doesn't want to go, my favorite was my first voiceover booking. It was at Saatchi. It was with Mr. Kenny and with Russell Horton and Bob Caliban. And it took all of 20 minutes. And I know Larry doesn't remember this, but it was my first voiceover booking. And it was in 19...
my most difficult moment, I think, and the most stressful They decided to come up with a character for McDonald's years and years ago called the Professor, and Howie Morris had done it. I'm the professor here, and we are talking to him. So they said, we're going to have an audition, and I said, Howie's going to go in and do that, and everybody's going to try to do Howie, and and he's the best at that you can be. So if I'm going to audition for it, maybe I ought to go 180 degrees away from that. And I said, yeah, sure, I'm a professor, and I'm just going along here and just talking. Well, at any rate, I did the audition, and I knew I would lose it, and that was all ancient history. 6 months later, I got a phone call saying, the audition you did for the Professor, they want you up at their studio, and they'd like you in there in an hour, and they need to record some tracks. So I said, what did I don't even remember. They said, well, you did the Professor. All right. So I go up to the place and they say, great. Andre, it's good to see you here. We're going to do the Professor. How does he sound? I said, what do you mean? Because there's nobody on the creative team was part of the old creative team that chose me. So I'm the only one there who knows how the Professor sounds. And so, and they kept writing for the old Professor. So it was a kind of an odd thing that for that whole campaign, we did a lot of spots. I was the only one there who really knew how he was supposed to talk, and I would have to correct the writers because they were writing 90 mile an hour dialogue for him, and I'm supposed to be doing, well, sir, you got it. Frustrating thing.
Oh my goodness!
You know what? I'll jump in. One of my favorite moments, recording, not necessarily for Lucky the Leprechaun, but I'm going to jump to a Donald Duck story. I was at the studio, and the late and wonderful Russi Taylor was coming out of the booth. And she sees me, and she goes, "Oh, Daniel, do the voice, honey. Do the voice." And I'm like, "What voice?" And she's like, "You know what voice?" So I said, "Okay." And she breaks out into Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and we had a whole conversation together with Uncle Donald and the nephews.
Wonderful.
And as somebody who grew up with her in all of my entertainment, I idolized her so much. That was such a gift. That was such an amazing moment. And I will forever treasure that for the rest of my life.
She was a great lady.
Yes, she was.
Very, very much.
So bad. So, Matthew, how about you?
Well, the story got in the feels. And anyways, so I guess maybe not necessarily recording for Toucan Sam, but I think one of my favorite moments because the whole session was brilliant and fun and was new, and it was really great being able to explore that and all that different stuff. But the best moment was probably when I was just sitting on the couch with my wife, and I have a bad habit of talking through movies, TV shows, stuff like that, because I just like to talk about what's going on the screen and what's going to happen. So
you're one of those people.
I'm one of those. We're watching Hulu. I forget what we're watching. And she's just like, all right, seriously, tonight, I don't want to hear you say a thing. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to say anything. So we sit there. Fruit Loops comes on. And I just go, and he starts laughing, and it was the best ever. It was just so weird because it was like so surreal. I was like, oh, this is happening now. I'm saying things now. But so now that's my new goal, is to eventually voice everything and then get away from it.
Just leave the TV on.
Yeah, just right. Hey, I'm not saying it's just the guy on TV. It's just that guy. That guy is on TV all the time.
Hey, a quick reminder to our audience, if you'd like to chat with our guests like I am now or purchase a personalized autograph, sign up at galaxycon.com. And Mr. Phillips, we haven't heard from you yet.
Hi.
Yay.
What would you like to know? Best
the same question on the table. Just a favorite memory from the recording booth for any of your characters.
I don't know. The first gig I ever had was blew me away. I was the weird kid that read the credits on the end of cartoons and would get comedy albums and look at different voices that were on different things like that. So the first gig I ever had there was Jackson Beck had a voice like this, and he was the Adventures of Superman and all that kind of stuff. And Bob McFadden, who was the original Frankenberry amongst a million things.
Oh, hello.
Len Maxwell, who was the original Hawaiian Punch. Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian Punch? You know, and Dan Resin, who was in Caddyshack as Dr. Beeper, and Bob Caliban, and myself. And I was the only one I didn't recognize at the session. But meeting all those guys was amazing. And then working with them was unbelievable. And we all got along brilliantly. And I got close to them and started working with them after that. And that to me was a great way to really kind of get into the business. And so I fondly remember that memory. But otherwise, nothing too strange. A guy named Paul Christie and I did these two characters for Walmart. Paul Christie was also Stickley on Nickelodeon while I was doing Face. So we ended up getting these two characters for Walmart, Wally and Marty. And at the beginning of the session, it was at the end of the day, this woman that worked at the studio came in and said, "Okay, gentlemen, I'll take your drink orders." And just in a cocky way, I made a drink order. Paul did too. She came back with actual drinks, and it turned into be the most fun session I ever had. I couldn't believe we were doing it, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Chris, two words for you. Margarita mix. Yeah, have you been there in LA?
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah. Whenever I've been out to LA there.
I made that when you come. Yeah, next time you come out, we'll have to book a session. I don't even care. Larry, everyone, Matt, Rob, Matt, everyone, Chris. I'll book us on a fake job and we'll go to Margarita Mix.
And I'll bring Paul Christie. I'll bring him.
Yeah.
Brock, how about you? What's a favorite booth memory?
Oh man. First of all, Patty, I have to say that I got into this because I'm a fan first, and I spent most of my Saturday mornings watching these amazing people perform and listening to them. And so I remember vividly. My sister and I both played with Barbies proudly. We grew up pretty poor, so we would have to share the same toys. So I played with Barbie, and I have tons of fond memories of that character. The many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Come on, Andre. And of course, Lionel being on the same call with Larry Kenney is an honor. I used to sit and eat cereal having no idea that Larry was also the voice of Count Chocula, so it's a trip. It's the thrill of a lifetime to get to do this and to do this with people that I respect and have affected me since I was a child. And I'd say one cool thing that came out of the Kool-Aid gig is I'm the official voice of the Kool-Aid Man for the Hastings Kool-Aid Festival that happens every year. It raises a little money for the town of Hastings, Nebraska, where Kool-Aid was invented. And I'm most proud of that. Above all the stuff that's paid, that's a really cool thing because that community is an amazing community. And the Hastings Kool-Aid Fest raises money for charity, and you can check it out. I think they're going to do maybe a virtual one this year. So.
Very nice, very nice. Larry, bring us home. Favorite booth memory?
Oh, geez. I don't have a particular one, but my favorite, one of my favorite things when we were doing Thundercats is Earl Hammond, God bless him, played a character called Mumra, the head mutant. He was the chief villain. And for those of you who remember the cartoon show, when Mumra got all upset and was getting angry, drool would start coming out of his mouth. But when Earl did the character in the studio, he drooled and he spat. Asian spirits of evil transformed, and the spit would. I'm telling you, after a while, we would all run to various corners and try to hide. One time, I went to see Gallagher the comedian, and if you know Gallagher, in the theater, they had plastic sheets that you put up like this. So I brought one of those.
I knew Earl. You're right. You're absolutely right.
As he was doing it, he would wipe his face like this and then throw it.
Oh my God, Larry!
Michael Bell tells a similar story where he talks about working on Speed Buggy with Mel Blanc and talks about anybody who guest starred during the table readings. They'd always say, "Oh, why don't you sit next to Mel?" Because when Mel did the voice of Speed Buggy, whoever sit next to Mel Blanc would get drenched in Mel Blanc's spit. And Alan Oppenheimer still has never forgiven Michael Bell.
I'd be like, yes, imbue me with your powers, Mel Blanc.
Save that.
Let me tell you a real quick Larry Kenny story. And Larry, don't get mad at me, all right? Larry's a big Yankees fan. And my nephew was a member of the Staten Island Yankees. And I would get a suite. And you remember this, Larry? You and Tanner came out? Yeah. And my nephew was playing third base. And he told me afterwards, he said, everybody kept looking up towards the suites because they kept hearing, "Come on, Bob, hit the ball." I'm like, I know that voice. Who is that guy? It's a true story. You can back it up.
Absolutely. I believe it. Aaron, thank you. That was a wonderful question. And GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with these icons of animation and advertising, but it absolutely does not have to be yours. If you'd like to chat with our guests or purchase a personalized autograph, please head over to GalaxyCon.com. And while you're there, please check out our schedule of upcoming events just like this one. Gentlemen and lady, this time has gone by so fast. Any final words for our audience before we all go backstage?
Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Be kind to others. Be kind to others.
Throw strikes, hit homers.
Follow your
You have an uncommonly good day.
Follow your dreams, because you never know when you might end up on a panel with the people that you idolized as a child and get to play in the same sandbox. Follow your dreams, whatever that is.
Really,
Well
sir.
put.
Absolutely.
Don't
It has
swallow
been.
with your spurs on.
I just want to say thanks to all the people on the panel. For me personally, thanks you
Me
guys.
too.
It's
Thank
fun.
you,
It's
everybody.
good to
you,
see
guys.
you again. God bless
Thank you,
you all.
Chris. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all. It has been my.
Bye.
And
See you
Brock, I'll
later.
send you that picture of Frank Sims.
It's been my absolute pleasure to serve you all today. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for our audience for joining us today. And thank you, Aaron, for that great question. Hope to see you all again soon. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Happy
Bye, everybody.
Valentine's Day. Take care. And please keep washing those hands.